Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are playing Not for Broadcast. We're going to be a television producer. Can't wait to do this. I actually almost did this for a job. Actually went and sat in at a TV station for a while. This was back in my radio days. And I almost made the switch over into television news. So I guess we'll start. First of all, let's turn some of this music down because I don't know about the whole copyright thing. So we'll leave that turned down just in case. Okay. Let's see what our controls are. Look up. Okay, so it's basic controls there. Vision mixer 1, 2, 3, 4, and sensor for space. Okay. All right. Let's try a new game, shall we? Enter a new game name. Broadcast 1? I don't know. Yeah, we'll just call it Broadcast 1. I have no idea what I'm even doing yet, so I don't know what to name it. Editing too quickly will annoy the audience and they'll switch off. Okay. Day 1, the election. Oh boy. Oh boy, this is timely. Turn right. D. Well, how do I answer the call? Do I have a mouse?
Hi, David.
Oh, okay.
I have a call for you. I'm just putting it through.
Oh, thank you.
All right, mate. Dave here. Listen, I know you've only come in to clean up the place, but I've got a bit caught up, so you're going to have to run the news tonight. Now, don't worry. It's not
Totally
hard, and I'm going
fine.
to stay on the phone and help you. First, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the broadcast room, so if you're not doing it already, look forwards towards all those screens.
A.
Right, look up at the top. That coloured bar is your audience.
Okay.
You want to keep the viewers going up and not down.
Ooh.
Underneath that, you've got the screens. The one on the right is the broadcast screen.
Okay.
That's what the viewers are seeing at home.
All right.
It's only a couple of seconds behind the master screen there in the middle. That's the one you control. Now, the 4 small screens on the left show the different signals coming from the studio, and you can choose between them using the numbered buttons on the vision mixer at the bottom left.
Gotcha.
Don't worry, I'll talk you through it and you'll pick it up in no time. Now, have a look to your left. These plugs control everything in the studio. I've left them set up for you, so provided you haven't fiddled with them, all you have to do now is throw the master trip switch and we're in business. Once you've got the power on, face the front again. You can see on the broadcast screen that we're in the end titles for the show before us. Fortunately, they go on for fucking ages, so there's plenty of time for me to explain. Oh, right, okay, they're over, so we haven't got long now till the broadcast. Right, quickly, mate, look down under the desk. You can see a load of videotapes on the left.
Yep.
They're your adverts. Pick any 3 and load them into the machines on the right. When you've done that, look up to the front again.
That's followed at 8 p.m. by award-winning
And my Salad Weekly.
Right, won't be long now till the signal starts coming through from the station. Stay on your toes. All the bigwigs are in tonight because of the election, so we better not make any mistakes.
Yeah, right. This is the reason why I didn't do this for a job, because it's so stressful.
Select screen 1 with the vision mixer and we're ready to go.
Prawn and mayonnaise?
You know seafood makes me come out in pustules.
Yeah, I thought it might increase our viewing figures.
Every day. You offer me prawns every day.
10 seconds, everybody. That's how I show love.
You're trying to kill me.
And yet you persist. Going
Ah.
5, 4.
But now, it's time to join Jeremy Donaldson.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight.
Okay,
Moving on
we're
up.
all good.
The election
Next
win
is
that
going to be the
makes
throw to
us
the
just
news
pretty
titles
happy.
on screen 2.
Hopeful or
There'll
hostile.
be a countdown, but I'll count you in as well. Just relax, mate. It's all gravy.
Buys Honest Andy's Totally Independent and corners the fly. Chat.
Oops.
Sports fans everywhere celebrate as popular footballer Johnny House leaves wins Sports Personality of the Year.
Well, I pressed the wrong
And
button
a
already.
spoonful of sugar. Megan will be chatting with movie star Lawrence Blunderclatch about his new movie, The Medicated. And, of course, we'll be going live to Advance headquarters with this fledgling party have to say on their historic.
Right, but
That's all
two,
coming up on
in
tonight.
3,
National
2,
Nightly News.
1, now. Bit late there, mate.
There we go.
Next thing is the throwback to Jeremy with button 1 when that globe in the middle shrinks down and vanishes.
Blonde Clutch on election night?
Yeah, Megan's.
You gotta love it. National Nightly News starts now.
You're a bit early there, mate.
But first, the votes are in and it's a decisive win for Advance. The landslide
Listen, mate, we often get a bit of interference around this time of night, so keep your eye on the machine on the bottom right. You can move that white dot up and down, avoiding the interference using the yellow knob or your scroll wheel.
of a severe lack
Gotcha.
of actual policies and of being deliberately vague. The opposition parties have all conceded defeat to Advance's overwhelming mandate, but have yet to appear publicly.
Right, it's going well. All you've got to do now is play the advert at the end of the segment. Make sure you don't play it too early or we'll all get fired. Now the clock at the top is counting you down to the advert. When it reaches 0, press one of the 3 play ad buttons over there at the bottom right. I normally play the first one at the first break and so on, but you can play them in any order you want. I'll count you into it as well, but keep your eye on the clock.
We'll be going live to Advance HQ to hear the co-leader's acceptance speech.
And 3,
That's all coming
2,
up.
1, advert.
1 minute back, everybody. I need to fill up.
What? Why?
Wanker Snatch is running late. Thought I'd ask him about the election.
Personally,
So far, we're doing
using
great.
words.
That's the same policy we use with you. I thought that was our little secret. Doesn't remember anything I tell him.
I'm deeply uncomfortable with your burgeoning friendship. Yeah.
Wicked. We made it to the first ad break. You're doing great, mate. But this is where it starts getting a bit trickier. This next sequence is what we call a multicam sequence, because you're going to be cutting between multiple cameras to keep things interesting. A lot of it's down to personal taste, but here's 3 good rules of thumb. 1. Try and keep the shot on whoever is doing the talking. 2. Don't stay on the same shot for too long. 10 seconds at the most. So if you're on the person who's talking, try and throw in the odd reaction shot or pull out to the wide shot for a bit just to keep it interesting. 3. Don't stay on reaction shots for too long. A couple of seconds is usually enough. Then the audience want to see who's doing the talking, yeah? Stick to these rules and you'll be fine. It's not as complicated as it sounds. You've seen programs on television, haven't you?
Sure.
Make it look like those. Might as well get screen 1 selected now. No need to wait for the broadcast to start. Try and stay ahead, mate.
All right, I got you.
We're coming back from the break. Quiet in the studio.
Here we go.
Thank you so much. 10 seconds, everybody. Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later, we'll be hearing from shock election winners Advance. But first
Get
off,
ready to go to Megan on screen 4.
Megan Wolf is here with a star of both stage and screen. Megan?
Thank you, Jeremy. Megan Wolf, culture correspondent. And today I have a guest who starred in everything from Shakespeare
Right,
to
go
the
to
Shop
Blunderclatch
films.
on screen 3 when she says his name.
Today by none other than Lawrence Blunderclatch. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my dear, I do hope you believe me when I tell you that being with you here today is a
Switch to 2 for the wide now.
May I say, having you here with us is among ours.
Right, now just try and
Gets up
stay
and
on whoever's
leaves.
talking.
Latest movie, which is called The Medicated.
The medicated, yes.
Wow, what was that like?
Well, as I said to Peter the Rat, that's Peter Jensen, the director.
Give us a look at Megan's reaction. Lovely. Now back to Thunder Twat.
I've worked with him on several movies, all terribly successful. I said to Peter, what a wild ride this has been. And you know what, Megan? I really meant that.
Wow, that is fantastic. And am I right in saying that the character you play in this movie is quite an academic one?
Absolutely right. A scientist.
Was that a challenge at all?
What exactly are you implying? But seriously, yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from my last starring role when I played Sergeant Brock Rockman in Bullet Man. You'll remember that that was the true story of one soldier's fight for a love that surpasses all others. A love, of course, for freedom. I think it's grossed over $1 billion, but honestly, who's counting?
It's a role that saw you scoop 2 Best Actor awards, if I remember correctly.
It's so sweet of you to mention it, but I really am not in it for the awards, although those 3 little statues do take pride of place on my mantelpiece.
With all the others, I'm sure. So, if you're not doing it for the awards, what is it then that drives you?
Please tell us.
Beautiful question, Megan, and not easy to answer. Like you, I'm afraid. Cut me, and I will bleed. And often, that's how it feels, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Bleeding.
She looks
Giving.
scared to death.
Suffering.
Get back to who's talking.
I suppose in the end, I do it for the difference it makes. I do it for the people that I inspire. The little people. But most of all, I think I do it for the positive change that I can bring about in the world.
And today, of course, we're in for some real change, it looks like, in the coming few months. What do you make of this historic election result?
Oh, well. Well, now you're asking. Historic election result. Indeed. Historic is the word. Well, difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. But I think I've always been quite
So
clear that when
cheesy.
it comes to politics, that one should always strive to not fuck things up.
Shit, he swore. Oh, well, don't worry, he won't do it again.
Sorry, I said fuck.
Shit, he did it again. Okay, don't panic. I'll explain how to deal with swearing at the
From
break.
The Medicated, which opens next week.
Right, they've swapped the shot of Jeremy on screen 1 for a VT of the movie clip. You'll get a countdown on the screen, but I'll just let Megan cue you in.
My character, Dr. Lance Hemlock, is faced with a decision that could affect humanity's very survival.
Exciting stuff. Let's take a look.
Watch out for that interference, mate.
Sandra, you're upset, but we can.
I don't understand it.
God, looks like Blunderclatch is losing it in the studio. I'd love to hear what he's saying, but don't switch to it now. You can go to the archive when the broadcast's done. We keep everything.
I don't know that.
No, Lance, we mustn't.
Dr. Lance to you, Miss
I feel like this interference thing is not realistic.
Did it for you, baby. All for you.
Dr. Hemlock.
We're gonna change the world. You remember?
They don't do this in the studio.
Go ahead, listen to me.
Dr.
Now,
Hemlock.
switching between all those camera scenes,
Didn't
absolutely.
listen.
Doctor,
I'm drowning, Lance, you said.
you need to see this.
No, it's all too late.
Fucking got it!
The virus. The sterility. This formula. This is the key.
Stop it all.
At the end of the clip, you'll want to play another ad. Remember to use the clock at the top to count you in.
If we should.
Right, I guess I better explain how to deal with bleeping out swear words.
Yes, please
As
do.
you'll probably notice, the broadcast screen, here, is about 2 seconds behind the master screen, here. When someone says a naughty word, the bleep button lights up, like this. 2 seconds later, you'll hear that swear word going out on the broadcast, and you need to hold down the bleep button, or the spacebar on your keyboard, for as long as the swear word lasts.
Okay.
It can take a bit of practice getting used to hearing 2 things at once.
Yep.
Just stay calm, and you'll get it.
Man, I've
And
run
if you
2
can't
radio
tell when
stations
to
at the
bleep,
same time.
Just above the button, you'll literally be able to see
2
the sound
different ball
scrolling
games
by.
even at the
All you
same
gotta do
time, one in
is
each
hold it
ear.
down while the
I can do
red
this.
bit is over the red line. Simple.
Gotcha.
Of course, if you do it by eye, you'll have to take your eye off the screens. That's why real professionals do it by ear.
Absolutely.
Most people like to have the volume of the broadcast screen a little bit below the master screen. Let's set it now. As you turn it up, you'll hear the advert getting louder. Good. You're set to start censoring. Like I say, it takes a little practice, but I'll try and help you through it, and soon we'll have you bleeping like a pro.
Bleeping like a pro.
Button lights up, count 1, 2, and hold it down.
Only 85 minutes from the coast.
Gotcha.
And with more than 2 areas of
We got
outstanding
this.
natural interest. Isn't it time your family...
Remember to select screen 1 now that you've got the feed. Don't wait for the broadcast to go live. That's too late. You can
It's
use
too
the
late.
number buttons on your keyboard, 1 to 4.
That's what I'm using.
Seriously?
We've had worse. 5, 4,
3.
Welcome back. And I'm told we can now go live to Advance Headquarters, where the two leaders, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury, are about to make their acceptance address.
Cut to the outside broadcast.
Go for it, Pat.
Shall I start?
Go for it, Pat.
Thank you all for coming, and, well, thank you all
where
for coming.
do I start?
And, well, what a
Where
day.
do I start? They said we couldn't do it.
They certainly
said we
they
couldn't
used
do it.
every
dirty
low-down lying
every southern
dirty
bastard
low-down
trick they
lying
had against
southern-
southern. But you, they had
The
against
people. Nice.
you saw right through there.
I'm sorry about the language there.
Sorry about that.
the
I've had a
language
couple
there.
of celebrations. Sorry about that. I've had a couple of celebrations. Coarser than the ground is funny. Coarser.
Memorably put. Memorably put. But to be honest, who can blame Peter for celebrating?
Don't yell at me.
Throughout the campaign, you've heard us say that Advance are not a political party. Advance are not a political party. That is what you have when things are going well. That is what you have when the country is suffering. You don't need a party. When the country is suffering, you need a party. A team that can change things. A team that can change. But today is day one of a new future. A better, fairer future. A better. So perhaps we should all be celebrating.
Except for the rich. For them the party's over. They shouldn't be celebrating. For them the party's over. They should be putting their shitting pants on and up in their dusty checkbooks. On and up in their dusty checkbooks.
Again, not inaccurate, but before we came out here to address the nation, we used to pass the Assets and Wealth Act, to pass the Working with the Wealth Office.
I like how he's just drinking.
Every person in the country with wealth into the millions.
You know the sort of probably you rather you don't. Because the likes of you and me are not welcome in their gated communities.
Tomorrow we will be introducing a sweeping reform of the tax system in this country. No more hiding wealth offshore, no more hiding wealth funds or creative accounting. Trust funds or creative accounting. Fairer, unavoidable set of tax laws.
So all you bastard public school snobs have got nowhere to hide. I've got nowhere to hide. We revoke your passports. We revoke your passports. You want them back before the election. That's fine. Before the election. That's fine.
I like cutting to the studio for no reason.
Advance are going to turn this country from a nation of warring individuals to properly fund health and education, to raise the living standards of us all.
The pundits said we'd have to raise billions. But you'll see when we've reclaimed what's ours, that's absolute.
And let's cut to an audience reaction.
You posh twats. You posh twats.
In their private clubs, the people whose children you raise.
So they've got time to get even
Advance have this to say to you. Advance have this to say to you. We are coming for your sports cars and your mansions and your vineyards.
It ends today.
We will put the wealth of this country back where it should have always been. In the hands of the people who created it. In the hands of the people who created it.
Today.
Yes, it ends today. And tomorrow, we'll start making it fair again. Just like we promised we would.
And until then, ladies and gents, I should just be all pissed.
I can't argue with that. Thank you for your time.
You totally missed that.
Thank you for your time.
Wow, there's like 20 things going on.
Acceptance speech there. Interesting acceptance speech. And our apologies for the fruity language. And our apologies for the fruity language. Bleeped out for you in time. Hopefully we got that bleeped out for you in time. Someone's going to be in trouble. If not, someone's going to be in trouble. So, as the country braces itself for new government, that's all from us this evening at the National Nightly News.
Oh, nice.
We'll be back tomorrow with full coverage of the first day under Advance. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Have a peaceful Jeremy. Have a peaceful.
And we're out. Good job, everybody. 7 tomorrow. Good time.
Right, looks like you've got it now. Thanks for all the help, mate. I'll Gotta go. Ferry's about to leave. Probably won't be coming back. Job's yours, mate. Good luck.
I'm dying now.
Bye.
Be so lucky.
My salad.
I'll see you tomorrow night.
Not coming for a drink?
No, got a date.
Try not to get murdered.
Try not to get murdered.
Build your collection.
We got the
week by
challenge
week,
room
and
unlocked.
very soon you'll have
Nice.
a salad that really gets the lunchroom talking. From
Oh, this is our
tomatoes and
salad
oils to
commercial.
leafy greens and lovely grains. This really is the complete collection. Every issue also comes with a companion magazine that explores the history of the art form. From the Great Balsamic Wars of 48, or Edward
Great
the Confessor's
Balsamic
discovery
Wars of
the cucumber,
48.
to the man that changed the very way we see the humble salad, Julius Caesar
Julius
himself.
Caesar.
Start your personal salad collection now, and
Ooh,
we'll
a
send
salad
you your
collection.
First 3 issues. Loose leaf,
Romaine and
iceberg.
iceberg.
Plus this exclusive lettuce fridge magnet, all for just $7.97.
Look at that. That's a
With
fridge
free
magnet
postage
for
and packaging.
$7.97.
And you'll receive this crouton display case free.
A crouton display
That's right,
case?
Absolutely free.
Call now.
With a retail
I need the
value
phone
of
number now.
$18.99, your crunchy cubes will
Who
look
doesn't
their
want a
absolute
crouton
carby
display
best.
case?
But don't delay. This exclusive offer is available for a limited time.
4, 3, 2, 1. I feel like we didn't do great. Not bad censoring, some interference. Your editing was okay. You went to ads late once. We got a D. I mean,
Alright, mate, I've left you a voicemail. I thought you'd end up here. Most people come into the archive room when they're done with a broadcast. That way you can see what you did and how it looked to the public. As you can see, there's 3 sections to the archive.
Right.
Broadcasts, that's what you've put out. Rushes, which is all the stuff that was on all the screens. And adverts, which is any advert that you've chosen to show. So
Okay.
let's have a look at the broadcasts.
all right. Broadcasts. I clicked it.
Okay, on the left you can see all the broadcasts that you've done. You can also get to hear from the main menu if you don't actually want to do a broadcast, you just want to see some of your past work.
Got you.
Select any of those and click load tape. Why not watch what you just did? When you're done, hit back.
Let's see how bad it actually was, right?
In a few moments, we'll be going live to tonight's national nightly news. But before that, let's take a look at what's coming up later on tonight on Channel 1. At 7 o'clock, it's the semi-final of
it's
the
the BBC
Quotation
One,
Game.
Channel 1.
And it's a nail-biting quiz tonight as a team of nuclear physicists take on 4 old ladies from East Grinching. That's followed at 8 p.m. by award-winning documentary series
Okay.
The Shape of Now, which tonight looks at the history of the knee-length sock and its importance
The
during the Great
knee-length
Blackouts
sock.
of 1871.
Oh,
Not one
nice.
to miss. At 9 p.m, sit back and relax with multiple award-winning movie The Freedom of Being Colin, taking us all the way up to 11:15, where, as usual, Dr. Adrian Atkinson Blimey will be grilling his guests in Incisors, and tonight sees a return for leading economist Katie Brightman. Finally, at midnight, it's the National Weather Report, before we say good night until tomorrow. But now, it's time to join Jeremy Donaldson for
Yes,
the
it
National
is.
Nightly News.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight. Moving on up, the election win that experts
Oh, boy.
said just couldn't happen. Hopeful or hostile? Controversy as global mega corporation Remington Fist buys Honest Andy's Totally Independent
Look at that
and corners the
mustache.
flower. Chat. Sports fans everywhere celebrate as popular footballer Johnny Hamsleeves wins Sports Personality of the Year. And a spoonful of sugar. Meghan will be chatting with movie star Lawrence Blunderclatch about his new movie, The Medicated. And, of course, we'll be going live to Advance headquarters to this fledgling party have to say on their historic victory. That's all coming up on
There's a new
tonight's
guy in the control
National
room.
Nightly News.
That was some smooth editing.
Blunderclatch on election night?
Yeah, Megan's.
Oh,
But first, the votes are in and it's a decisive win for Advance. The landslide victory, with an astonishing 81% of the popular vote, is the biggest election win in living memory. Advance appealed to voters up and down the country with their bold promises of permanent change, but critics have accused him of a severe lack of actual policies and of being deliberately vague. The opposition parties have all conceded defeat to Advance's overwhelming mandate, but have yet to appear publicly. However, former Home Secretary Geoffrey Jeffries has issued a statement in which he comments that we have all been seduced by the shiny wrapping paper, but have yet to see the contents of the box. Sounds like sour grapes to me, Jeff. After the break, Megan Wolf will be speaking to a man whose grapes certainly aren't sour, the international heartthrob and inexplicable box office sensation that is Lawrence Blunderclatch. And later in the program, we'll be going live to Advance HQ to hear the co-leader's acceptance speech. That's all coming up after the break.
Welcome to Crazy Neil's crazy pre-Christmas sofa and chair deals. It's a steal with Crazy Neil. We don't care if you've been naughty or nice. We got green sofas, red sofas, brown cushions.
Can I fast forward
You've
this?
got a great...
There we go. Much better. Much more enjoyable to watch this way.
We don't care if it's smelly, stuck in front of your telly, full of welly. We'll take that shit away. Don't make a meal out of it, make a deal out of it. We got a big ass deal on a big ass chair. We've got white
like
chairs, blue chairs, stools, inflatable chairs. This is
just
a
European
crazy
television
deal
in
with
general.
real appeal. You don't want no lame
They
ass
really
chair.
push
You
the
want a
limits
great
on what
chair.
you can
We
say on
had
the air.
a man come down the other day,
Well,
and he
I mean,
brought in
in the
his
States
young
at
daughter,
least.
and he wanted her to have the
Our
best
FCC
chair.
would
We
get,
got those chairs. We got more of those chairs. We
pretty
got tall
upset.
chairs, chairs on wheels, wheelchairs. We got chairs for twins, chairs made out of steel, chairs that are a steal and a deal. We got those chairs. You want crazy? We got crazy. Crazy Neil's got crazy deals. You want a toilet? We can do you a toilet. We can do you a toilet next to a chair. We can do you a chair next to a toilet. Hell, we can even do you a toilet chair. So you
how
calm
long
down,
is this
you bring your
advert?
ass. We got it. We've got it. You pay us.
We just paused it.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later, we'll be hearing from shock election winners Advance.
Shit.
But first, our very own culture reporter, Megan Wolf, is here with a star of both stage and screen. Megan?
Thank you, Jeremy. Megan Wolf, culture correspondent. And today I
We
have
got
a
that
guest
one
who
correct.
starred in everything from Shakespeare to the Shotbot films. I'm very excited to be joined today by none other than Lawrence Blunderclatch. Thank you so much for coming on.
What a
my
name.
dear, I do hope you believe me when I tell you that being with you today is among the greatest joys of my life.
May I say, having you here with
I
us
love
is
the
an
reaction
honor.
shots. The guy just gets up and
So
leaves.
you've
He's like, I'm
just
not
finished
listening to
filming
this.
your latest movie, which is called The Medicated.
The medicated, yes.
Wow,
Like, I
what
made
was
it
that
much
like?
more
Well,
visually
as I
interesting.
said to Peter at the Wrap, that's Peter Jensen, the director. Do you know him? He's a wonderful chap. He really is. I've worked with him on several movies, all terribly successful. I said to Peter, what a wild ride this has been. And you know what, Megan? I really meant that.
Wow, that is fantastic. And am I right in saying that the character you play in this movie
I mean,
is quite an
it's not
academic?
bad editing.
Absolutely right. A scientist.
Was that a challenge at
I've
all?
not done this before.
What exactly are you
I've
implying?
watched people do it.
But seriously,
real life.
yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from my last starring role when I played Sergeant Brock Rockman in Bullet Man. You'll remember that that was the true story of one soldier's fight for a love that surpasses all others. A love, of course.
I loved getting her reactions to this guy talking.
I think it's grossed over $1 billion, but honestly, who's counting?
It's a role that saw you scoop 2 Best Actor awards, if I remember correctly.
It's so sweet of you to mention it, but I really am not in it for the awards, although those 3 little statues do take pride of place on my mantelpiece.
With all the others, I'm sure. So, if you're not doing it for the awards, what is it then that drives you?
Oh, that is a beautiful question, Megan, and not easy to answer. Like you, I'm afraid. Cut me, and I will bleed. And
Do it.
Often, that's how it feels, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Bleeding, giving, suffering
Her
for one's
face.
audience. I suppose in the end, I do it for the difference it makes. I do it for the people that I inspire. the little people.
The little people.
But most of all, I think I do
don't
it for the positive
Well,
change.
at least he was
that I can
PC
bring
and didn't
about
use
in
the M
world.
word.
And today, of course, we're in for some real change, it looks like, in the coming few months. What do you make of this historic election result?
Oh, well. Well, now you're asking. Historic election result.
This is some
Indeed,
professional
historic
editing
is the
here.
word. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. But I think I've always been quite clear that when it comes to politics, that one should always strive to not fuck things up.
Yes, well...
Here we go off the rails.
I'm really apologize.
Well,
Sorry.
Lawrence, I believe you brought in a clip from The Medicated, which opens next week around the country. Lawrence, do tell us what's going on here.
I'd be delighted. This is a really pivotal scene where my character, Dr. Lance Hemlock, is faced with a decision that could affect humanity's very survival.
Exciting stuff. Let's take a look.
And
I don't understand it.
And you're upset, but we could...
I don't understand
Him yelling at her. Can't remember if we edited any more of that. I don't think we cut back to him anymore. Let's speed through this. Because it was kind of boring. I think it's almost going to break here. Yeah. The doctor is in this Christmas.
Where can you get warm, sandy beaches, clear waters, and...
We'll go ahead and fast forward this because we know this is boring.
What?
Go back.
Welcome back. And I'm told we can now go live to Advance Headquarters, where the two leaders, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury, are about to make their acceptance address.
Oh boy.
Shall I start?
Go for it, Pat.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming, and, well, where do I start? What a day.
They said we couldn't do it.
They certainly did.
They used every dirty, low-down, lying southern they had against us, but you...
I censored
the
that.
people, you saw right through their shite.
About the language there.
Sorry about that. I've had a couple of celebratory pints. It makes me coarse in this.
Memorably put. But to be honest, who can blame Peter for
Bleeped
celebrating?
unnecessarily.
Throughout the campaign, you've heard us say that Advance are not a political party. A party's what you have when things are going well. When the country is suffering, you don't need a party.
I didn't want to keep the camera on her because he was more
Team
interesting.
that can change things.
Never know what a drunk's
But
going to
today
do.
is day one of a new future. A better, fairer future. So perhaps we should all be celebrating.
Except for the rich. For them, the party's over. They shouldn't be celebrating. They should be putting their on and opening their dusted checkbooks.
Again, colourfully put, but not inaccurate. Before we came out here to address the nation, we used our executive powers to pass the Assets and Wealth Act.
Got to get the audience
Working with the tax
in there
office, we
occasionally.
have produced a definitive list of every person in the country with wealth into the millions.
You know the sort of... Probably you rather you don't. Because the likes of you and me are not welcome in their gated communities.
Tomorrow, we will be introducing a sweeping reform of the tax system in this country. No more hiding wealth offshore, no more trust funds or creative accounting. A simpler, fairer, unavoidable set of tax laws.
So, all public school snobs have got nowhere to hide. And earlier today, we revoked your passports. You want them back?
Really?
You want to leave before the election? That's fine.
I love that.
You're gonna
It makes
pay
it so much better.
You're gonna pay back.
Advance are going to turn this country from a nation of warring individuals into a team. to properly fund health and education, to raise the living standards of us all.
The pundits said we'd have to raise billions, but you'll see when we've reclaimed what's ours, that's absolute ferret shit. So to you posh
in their private clubs, the people whose children you raise.
So they've got time to get even richer.
Advance have this to say to you.
It ends today.
We are coming for your sports cars and your mansions and your vineyards.
It ends today.
That
We
sounds
will
like
put
the
wealth
rich
of this
Democrats
country
coming
back
after
where it should have
people.
always been, in the hands of the people who created it.
It ends today.
Yes, it ends today. And tomorrow, we'll start making it fair again, just like we promised we would.
And until then, ladies and gents, I suggest we all get pissed.
I can't argue with that. Thank you for your time.
Well, an interesting acceptance speech there from the leaders of Advance. And our apologies for the fruity language. Hopefully we've got that bleeped out for you in time. If not, someone's going to be in trouble. So, as the country braces itself for new government, that's all from us this evening at the National Nightly News. We'll be back tomorrow with full coverage of the first day under Advance. I'm Jeremy Have a peaceful night.
And we're out. Good job, everybody. Same again tomorrow.
Oh, that was great.
Celebrate the...
That is great. Go ahead and fast through this commercial. All right. I think that was it. Eject. Okay.
Right. Click on rushes and let's have a look at those. Okay. These 4 screens, they're exactly the same as the 4 screens that feed you the studio signal when you're doing the actual news. Of course, the difference here is you can mute any screen you like or any combination of screens and you can have a listen to what was going on behind the scenes. Just select any segment, that's any bit between ad breaks over on the left, and hit play. When you're done checking out the backstage secrets, hit back.
Play. No?
Prawn and mayonnaise?
You know, seafood make you go out in pustules.
Yeah, I thought it might increase our viewing figures.
Every day. You offer me prawns every day.
10 seconds, everybody. That's how I show love.
You're trying to kill me.
And yet you persist, going 5, 4.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight.
Okay. Is he going to yell at me? All right. I don't really want to watch that again. So save and quit. Okay, so we did it. Not for broadcast. We did one entire nightly news broadcast. Not a bad game. Actually pretty fun, considering I do have some background in broadcast career, I guess I would say. We may play this one again. This seems pretty fun. So, till next time, we'll see you then. Take care. Hey guys, I've always got more content for you to watch. Just check out my latest video over there on the left, or what YouTube thinks you should watch next. Don't forget, if you like the content, hit that subscribe button and hit like to let me know that you care. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.